Welcome to Suffolk Socks, where I let it podcast. I don't know what number it is. It's the first. Oh, I'm out of breath. Could be running downstairs. It's the first Wednesday of December, so I think it's 3rd, 4th, 5th of December. Yes. Oh, I woke up today. Do you know what? I woke up in a lovely felt. I am such a grumpy draws all of a sudden. I'm sharing a room. Well, it's not Jonathan's fault. I'm sharing a room with Jonathan, and I'm looking at all his bloody wires and musical stuff. My little oasis of calm in my shop room is trashed. But never mind, I'm not going to moan on because he's lovely. Right, where to find me? You can find me on Instagram and Ravelry and Facebook, and even sometimes on Twitter as Suffolk Socks. Join our Ravelry group. It's very quiet. It's a very low-key, quiet group. But you're very welcome to join. And that's it. I'm Julie, the dyer behind the Yarn Tart yarn label and the owner of Suffolk Socks, which is a small online shop that sources lovely commercial sock yarn and notions and what have you. So right, that's that. I've actually got a list. It's not it is a list. It's not a very it's not a list like you see all the really good podcasters where they've got their book with all their notes in and what have you. I've just written mine on the back of a delivery note. Right, so finished objects, 4s. I've got a few actually. My first one I will show you. It's my longest work in progress, and it's the flax jumper by Tin Can Knits. And I have knit this out of Arranmore, which is let's just show you. This is the skein. It's from the Fibre Company, and it's a blend of wool, silk, and cashmere. And oh my goodness, absolutely delightful to knit with. I bought this. Daphne came to the Cumbria retreat of last year I think, and she gave she was attending the retreat for a few nights, and she gave a talk to us about the process from the idea to the finished yarn selling in the shop of this wool, and it was absolutely fascinating. She did it again this time on a new yarn. I think it's Lore, Lore. I could be wrong, but that's only, yeah. And that equally is fascinating. So this, yes, I can't remember the colour name. Let's see what colour name it is. It is, doesn't have a, Glenvaux Castle, which is a lovely grey with flecks. See if I can get it. There, isn't that gorgeous? I know, so this is for my son Tom for Christmas. And he's 6'3". Well, he's over 6 foot to the exact. I don't know. I think it's about 6'2", 6'3". But oh my god, I found this really heavy on my hands. The big wool and the big needles, but I loved it. I wasn't in a rush to knit it. It has taken us nearly a year, but I knew it was for Christmas, so yeah. So that's that. My other whip. I've got lots of whips actually. One of them I haven't brought up because it's still soaking. I've just remembered I've left it in a bowl washing, soaking. Is a pair of socks, and these are from Helen Stewart's Knit Vent 2018. The Winter Sleep, and I've knit these for a Christmas present for someone in my family, but I'm not going to say because she has been known to watch this. And this is in the Hot Socks Aberdeen colourway. It's a 6-ply. These are knit on a 3.25. Just a little eyelet pattern. Plain vanilla feet. I did have a problem with these, but I hold my hands up. The problem was mine. When it came to it just goes to show, doesn't it? You know, it doesn't matter how many years I've knit socks, and I do knit a lot of socks, and I'm quite okay with knitting socks. So when I was knitting this, I automatically went into just doing the heel the way I always do it. And then I kept thinking, well, that's not right. I haven't got the right number of stitches. And then I pulled it out, did it again, and I still didn't have the right number of stitches. So I sent a message to Helen, because I'm friends with Helen, saying, Helen, I can't get the stitch right on the heel. Thinking, well, she's never going to have it wrong, is she? And then I thought to myself, well, I'm never going to have it wrong either, because I always knit socks. And then I pulled it out again and I did it, and I still couldn't get it right. And then I got a message from Helen saying she'd got Emma to re-knit the heel and test it. And her pattern was right, which I was not disputing. I have to say, I was not disputing that Helen was wrong. And do you know what? I'd missed 2 rows out of the heel. It just goes to show, doesn't it? It doesn't matter how many years you've been knitting, it pays you to read the pattern from start to finish. And I looked at it and I was like, oh God, yeah, I've missed them 2 rows out. Why didn't I do that? Why did I do that? Why did I think, So I thought, so now on this another pattern I'm knitting, I read every row and just do not presume. But lovely. Absolutely lovely. As with all of Helen's patterns, they are so well explained if you take the time to read it correctly. Sorry, Helen. Absolutely lovely. They were a quick knit, and I don't like that term quick knit. I have a real problem with that, because I think that when you get a design, like in the past when I bought a jumper design and it's cost a lot of money, and they say, oh, it's a really quick knit, and I think, well, for anything over £60 for a jumper for me, I don't want a quick knit. I want it to take its time. But these were a quick knit in the fact that they are a 6-ply yarn, and they were on a 3.25 needle. But Helen's line by line instructions again, lovely, absolutely lovely. I loved knitting them, and the person they're going to, I know, will be tickled pink. So that's that one. Another one, and actually it's like a tribute to Helen Stewart, this podcast, is another one of Helen's designs. Now, before I started those socks, 2018 knit vent, I thought I should at least knit something from the 2017 knit vent. And I decided to knit the Land of Sweets cowl. This is it. Oh my goody aunt. This is addictive. Absolutely lovely. I'm not going to try it on because I've got lipstick on, and it's a present for it's a present. I loved it. I've used all my own yarns, which, I have. When I dye a skein up, I usually knit one sock just to see what the fabric of it is like. And then I pop it in a wicker basket underneath here and knit bits and bobs. Oh, but this is absolutely lovely. And actually, underneath my wicker basket, I've started another one. So that when I'm sitting up here, just hiding really, I can just pick it up and have a few rounds and what have you. So that's that one, and these are all different blends of wool. They're predominantly merino. I think I've got a couple of sparkles in there. I don't do sparkly yarn I don't think the person who it's for would do sparkly yarn. So let's see. Where is it? Oh, there, just a little bit there. Oh, there. Oh, I can't figure this one out. There. This is my Waltzing Matilda colourway that I did last year for the Christmas kit, and there's a yellow one. This was part of a Cinderella inspired yarn from ages ago. I think it was You Shall Go to the Ball. It was her dress, a last dress she got. So yeah, so that's that one. The other one I've knit, and I absolutely love this. This is the Dust of Snow wrap. This was the first design for Knit Vent 2018. And I slightly changed it. Well, actually, I changed it a lot. I didn't change the design a lot, and the pattern lines and what have you, but I made mine into a cowl. When I'm not a one for massive scarves and what have you. And this is knit using Spindrift, Jameson Spindrift. oh my, again, this is highly addictive. And I think Helen's, you know, our aim was that people could use their minis that they're getting out their advent calendars. I haven't got an advent calendar, but I do have a lot of Shetland wool. And so I use some of this. Oh, absolutely love it. And it's been blocked and it's just the right size for me. I've got another one on the needles for a friend. And I'm hoping I get that finished so I can get that off in the post. But yeah, absolutely love it. And it's not tickly, and I don't have a high tickle tolerance. It's not tickly to me at all. Maybe it's because it's not in a hot part. I don't know if it'd be tickly on my head. What a look. So yeah, really, really lovely. Loved it. So, and again, with Helen's patterns, it was the line by line row count. And I will give a shout out. Helen's in the process of publishing her first Shawl Society that she designed. I can't remember what year it was, but she's in the process of publishing it. So hard copies will be available. I think possibly you'll have to keep, there's been a bit of a change in the date. So I don't want to say one date and I've got it completely wrong. But please keep an eye out on Helen's Instagram account and that'll be in our Ravelry page, the Curious Handmade forum and what have you. I think there'll be plenty of publicity on it. But I was lucky enough to be part of the test readers for it. Well, it didn't really need test reading because I thought it was perfect to start with. But I was lucky enough to get a glimpse of it. And it's on my list when it comes out. Really, really lovely. And it has got beautiful images and it's got the line by line instructions, as you know, that's everybody's familiar with for Helen's designs. So keep your eye out for that. Well, that slipped in there. Oh, and I have got one more. These are Christmas socks. And these are a Christmas present for somebody. But I know that person watches this podcast because that person mentioned it to me the other day. And I was really surprised. Although that person did say that the sound wasn't on. So that really gives it away because that person will know who that person is. But yeah, these are knit out of Zauber Ball. Oh, sorry, I'm shooting. Zauber Ball. I can't really. I think the colour name is jacket and trousers, shirt and jacket and trousers. I think waistcoat and trousers, something like that. Really love it. I love Zauber Ball. Right, that's all my works in progress. 30 minutes. That's not too bad, is it? Oh, I've got a squeaky chair. I still haven't found the nut to go in the bit that will stop me going head over heels. So I have a tendency to swivel and rock and what have you. Right, works in progress. Whips. Well, I've been really, really good at whittling down all my whips at the minute, and I've knit I've knit a fair few amount of jumpers this year, and I'm on target with my Make 9 because I didn't choose 9 designs. I chose 9 people that I wanted to knit for throughout the year. There weren't going to be Christmas. If it happened that I knit it this month, like Tom's, he'll get his for Christmas, and those socks that are for that person that I've been looking watching my podcast, that person was on my list as well. But the others, when I've knit them, I've just given them. So my first whip I'm going to show you is one that I've already shown on the podcast. And this is my Tree Yokes by Alicia Malcolmson. This was on the front cover of the Shetland Wool Week Annual 2018. This was my impulse buy at Shetland Wool Week. I had a good list of what I wanted to buy. And the one thing that I didn't buy, that I wanted to buy, was the Susan Crawford's book. And a vintage Shetland knit. Is it that? Because this is a delivery note. What's it called? The Vintage Shetland Project, sorry. I went to a talk with Susan Crawford, sorry. And that was fascinating. I absolutely loved the history behind each design, which made it even more of a I wish I'd bought it purchase. So I didn't get that because I'd bought this. I'm fairly strict with myself when it comes to my wool budget. And I weighed up and thought, well, you know, Christmas is coming. I can get that for Christmas. And I have got that for Christmas because I can see it on top of my husband's speakers on his desk. So yeah, absolutely love this. I haven't. The design calls for little for colour work on the body where you put in every other row, every a white stitch. I'll show it to you on the pattern. I don't know if you'll be able to see here. I've just omitted that completely. Someone that I was in Cumbria with, Pat, said that she might just do a pearl stitch where the white stitch should be. But I knew I just wanted something. Once I've done the colour work, I can fly through the plain work and just sit and knit. I have knit this bigger and I think it is going to be a little bit big because I wanted it cropped. But because it was going to be a bit big for me, I've knit it a little bit longer. And what I've done is I've left it on the needles where I've done the rib just till I've done the sleeves, so I can get a good gauge as to actually what it looks like first. Because if it's big and if it's cropped, sometimes, and I like my jumpers, sometimes when it's cropped, and it is, oh, that's a radio and a car outside. Sorry, God, must kill their ears. It does look really big, and because I'm busty, it was like hanging down like Happy Jakes, so I'll have to see. Absolutely love it. In the Shetland Spindrift, I was really original and I just decided to knit it the same colourway that the designer has knit. And that is living in my fringe supply, which has got all my lovely badges on. The Yarn Tart, Lady Stash, a Suffolk Socks badge. My daughter bought me this badge, I think before pins became even popular. And then she bought me this one, and this one I pinched. I didn't pinch. Well, I did pinch it. You could see. But the person I pinched it from knows. And if that person needs it back, then that person knows where it is. Ooh, it's all very secretive, isn't it? So that person can come and get it back. Should that person need it. Right, my other whip is what is that one? Let me see. Oh, this was a new one. Now, I had originally bought some wool to knit my lovely daughter-in-law a jumper, and it was going to be quite a fitted jumper. And but she's pregnant. Yay! And I wanted to wait to knit her something till after she's had the baby, because, you know, she's lovely, my daughter-in-law, and she would really appreciate having a jumper that I'd knit her, but I know she would worry about stretching it and what have you. So I just thought, do you know what? I'll leave it for a while and I'll knit her something special for when the baby's here, rather than buy the baby anything. Well, I will get the baby something. I'm not one for knitting baby clothes. I do not like knitting baby clothes. I love being a grandma. I love I love babies, but I hate knitting baby clothes. But I quite like knitting toddler clothes. And I've got a toddler granddaughter. And I'm knitting this. Well, anybody who knows me knows I love a tin can knits design. And this is out of their Strange Brew book. I love it. I just love everything about this design team. The way they design the patterns, the way they use their families as models, the way they write. Oh, just love it. Just absolutely love it. Can't speak more highly of it. And this design is the compass design. Now, as with all the jumpers I knit Our Matilda, aren't they stinking adorable? As with all the jumpers that I knit Our Matilda, I knit them with an acrylic yarn because, you know, I just want Lydia to be, I just want Lydia and if I should have to wash them out with her grandma, just to chuck them in the washing machine and not worry about them. And this, isn't it, using Stylecraft, their boutique range. It is 20% wool, 80% acrylic. And yes, I know if I knit with a higher wool content, or possibly if I was knitting it for me, I would use 100% wool. The colour work would, well, I don't know. Actually, I don't know. I'm not going to say that because I think this is lovely. Absolutely lovely. I'm knitting it for the 2 to 4 range, and I'm hoping I get it finished before Christmas. In fact, I hope I get it finished on Christmas Eve, because the last jumper I knit, which was the owlet jumper, I give it to her. I've got no willpower when it comes to our Matilda. And I was showing Lydia, saying, what do you think it'll fit her? And she was like, oh, is it for now? And I'm like, no, it's for Christmas. She was like, oh, all right then. And I was like, is she really hard up for jumper? She goes, yeah. I goes, oh, just have it. It's the same like a Christmas present. I have bought her the most, I want one. It is a baby pink, like, all-weather coat. It's like a rubber. It's waterproof. It's like a rubber that I bought from Marks and Spencer's, and it's got a thin quilted anorak inside, and it's got rainbows on. Oh, my computer keeps going a bit funny. Let's start again. Oh, what have I done? Sorry about that. I don't know what happened with my laptop. I watched what I'd already recorded, and I am aware now that I was calling my FOs my whips and getting my words mixed up, but that's nothing new. So there you go. So I was telling you about our Matilda's coat. It's this oilskin baby pink coat from Marks and Spencer's with a little lightweight orange anorak inside with rainbows on. Oh God, it's absolutely adorable. And I went with her. I took her last week for a try on just to see if it fit. And then I came back, okayed it with Lydia, because I would never buy anything like that without okaying it with Lydia, without okaying it with her mum. And I went back and bought it. But when I went, she was trying it on. She had on this white sparkly hat with Peppa Pig. I can't bear Peppa Pig. Gets my nerves away every time it speaks. It snorts. But that's because I'm 54, not 2. Anyway, I bought the Peppa Pig hat to go with it as well. And yes, it was really cold, just full of cold. So I give her a coat. It is for Christmas, but then you think, does it really matter? She's 2. She needs a coat. I've bought her a coat for Christmas. She's going to get so much Christmas Day. It doesn't really matter. So anyway, so I'm hoping this jumper will be finished on Christmas Eve so that I can give it to her for Christmas Eve when they come to my house. So she'll come out on Christmas Day. So that's my other whip. Actually, while I've been listening, rewatching my podcast, I finished the body on it. And that's in another fringe supply bag. I like a fringe supply bag. So that goes in there. So that's my other whip. Right, another whip I've got, which is just another pair of socks. And these are, again, the Hot Socks Osberg. And these are a self-stripe and self-patterning 6-ply sock yarn. I've cast these on with a 3mm needle and 50 stitches. Absolutely lovely. I don't know who these are for. They might be, I don't know. I've got one, so it's a haul. And I'm up to the heel on the second one, I think. But these again sit on my desk in my yarn ball that my daughter made me many years ago. And in the bottom it's got World's Best Mum. So and my final whip, which is just a new cast on. Do you know, does anybody else have this problem? My Notions pouch is actually as big as some of my knitting. I need a bigger one. These are just a pair of gloves I'm knitting. I'm knitting 2 pair of gloves, which I will show you the other one in a minute. I just cast these on last night. Oh, I'm all in a tangle. And it is just a Opal Classic that I had from Deep Stash. The pattern is a free pattern that I get when I order sock yarn, and I've got none of these left, but I'd kept one for myself. I am one of the first things I knit when I've knit for years, since I was about 12, but I can remember when I did my nursery training, me and my sister-in-law, our Maggie, because we did our nursery training together. I've known our Maggie for years. I grew up with my husband. We knit gloves, and I can remember I knit a pale blue pair, and each finger was a different colour. And I left them on the bus to college. I was mad as hell. And but I used to love knitting gloves. I knit loads for everybody. On the college course, in the pub where we used to go to with all our friends, all had a pair of me gloves. And I was watching, I can't remember what feed it was. Oh, Tilly Trout. She loves knitting gloves. And I've been thinking, oh, I really fancy just knitting a pair, because I've got loads of really patterns from the 1950s of glove patterns, but they're knitting a 2-ply, and my old faithful pattern I can't find anywhere. But every time her feet come up with a pair of gloves on, I was like thinking, oh, I'm going to knit a pair. So last night I cast them on. I've knit them in a large size, so I think they might go to my son. And my final whip that I'm knitting are these. This was what I bought at Edinburgh Yarn Festival, EYF this year. I got these from the Knitting Gift Shop. Lovely, lovely couple that run this, and they're from the north. So these are Man's just cable knits. I'm not doing the cable, and I'm not doing the thumb. Where my husband has a band practice on a night time. It's really cold, bless. So I'm knitting them a pair, and I'm just using some Phenol Roma wool, which is heaven to knit with. I've knit a few jumpers in this, and I'm going to be knitting the Ingles sweater. That's going to be my Christmas bag for myself. So I'm going to order that in a very, very pale green with a brown for the fair I'll work for Christmas this year. So that's all my finished objects. So I have a few for Christmas this year. This is me waffly bit. For Christmas this year, my husband and I have decided that we're not going to go out and buy each other presents. What we are going to do is we are going to buy ourselves presents that we would love, and then when they come, we will give them to the other person, and they'll wrap it up, and then they'll give it to us, and we can show each other what we've chosen. Because something we haven't got that one figured out. Maybe I'll wrap it. Yeah. So he's bought himself something and given it to me, and I'll wrap it up and give it back to him for Christmas, because I think, well, and I've bought the Susan Crawford, the Vintage Shetland Project book, which I wanted to buy when I was in Shetland, but it was a lot of money, and I thought to myself, no, I'm not. No, I'm going to just think about it first. But I bought myself it for Christmas. And another thing I bought when seemed to shame not to take advantage of it, didn't it? I bought this. This is her pin. Isn't that just adorable? Oh, it's just so lovely. And the other thing I'm going to buy myself, which is the new fringe bag with the handles. So that and the wool is going to be my big Christmas treat to myself and from my husband. So I can cast that on Christmas Day. So yeah, so right. Purchases. Well, I have got, and I'm not one for buying lots of stuff. I bought this. I'd seen it on loads of different Instagram accounts and what have you, and I heard a lot about it and what have you. And then Emma, my friend, who is EJW1969, who is the dyer behind Seven Yarns, we're very similar in the things we like wool-wise and stuff like that. And I noticed she bought it, and I thought to myself, well, if she bought it, it's a fairly cert that it's lovely. And I tell you, I was not disappointed. The photography and I want to knit. I do want to knit this. Well, I'm saying I do want to knit it. I do want to knit it, but I'm not knitting it. So that's a contradiction in itself, isn't it? Is this? Isn't that just blinking lovely? And that is, let's see, I can't remember off the top of my head what it's called, so I won't butcher it. Oh, sorry. Oh, it's not the East Wind jacket. Snowdrift. I love that, but it's got a brioche stitch in it, and I just think, oh, do you know, I can't be bothered to think about that, and I can't do brioche. Well, I'm saying I can't do it. I've never really tried. I did do a class with Renee Callahan when she was in Cumbria, and it was excellent teacher, and it was really nice, and I probably would be able to do it, but do you know what? My head's not in the right place to think about too much at the minute. So yes, so that's that. My other purchase, what I bought, was gingerbread house from Les Family Yarn. I don't know if I'm going to knit this up for myself or for a Christmas present for someone, or it'll get knit up eventually. I'll probably cast it on at Christmas as well, actually. So yes, so that's everything I've shown you. Future plans. Well, one of the other plans I've got for a cardigan to knit, I don't know what cardigan. It was going to be the Snowflake cardigan by Jennifer Steinglass, I think. And I've just been on my shelves and I can't find some of the wool I bought when I was in Shetland. It is going to be this. And I did buy another ball for a contrast, and they kept saying that's not going to be a big enough contrast. And when I've looked at it, it's exactly the same colour. Honestly, I'm losing the plot. So I thought I would bring in Pebble and Navy. So I think that might be a big enough contrast. I'm not sure yet. I love Shetland wool, and do you know, I bought it specifically for to knit that, but it's a knit really to knit any cardigan, any jumper. And I know Elias Skindia Knits has got a new design coming out. I think it's in a Norwegian or a Danish magazine, Scandinavian magazine, that is going to be translated to English. So we shall wait and see. I'm not going to beat myself up thinking I bought it for one design, because the skein, there's plenty on that skein for me. There's like 500 grams, which is, well, I don't know what it is. Wheat rich. So there you go. More than enough to, I think that's something like 25 balls or something. So yeah, so that's it. Right, what have I been up to waffly? Oh, I've had a busy week. I've finally laid to rest the problem with my leg. I saw a professor of neurology on Monday. Honestly, I thought you should have thrown the bloody book away, honest. Prior to that, I have to tell you this. On Saturday, I was going to my friends up in Capel, and I was pulled up at the traffic lights and I couldn't figure out how to turn my back windscreen wipers off, so I'm pulling all the thingies. And you know, when I pulled away, I realised it was the car behind me. It's front windscreen. Next week I see a neurologist. Like, it was like the first time I went to see him, he said to me, it was a different neurologist, and he said to me, what brought you here? And I said, oh, my husband. And he goes, no, what brought you here? I said, my husband. And he goes, no, I asked what brought you here. And I said, but I've told him my husband is in the car park waiting for us. And he went, no, what brought you to Suffolk? Now, I've lived in Suffolk 29 years. How was I to know he meant what brought me down to Suffolk? I've lived here longer than I lived up in Northumberland. So that was another blot on my neurology record. Anyway, so I went and I got a very positive consultation. My results came back. I'm absolutely thrilled with the results that came back. So I'm not facing anything. Well, I'm fine. I haven't got anything. I'm fine. I've got nothing that I can't be managed. They were testing me for MS, but I haven't got MS. So I've got the complete clear, which has been a bit of a worry, and I'm absolutely fine. But I did laugh when he said, do you manage day-to-day life, getting, with everything else? If only you knew I had sat in my car and thought, I can't turn my windscreen wipers off, and then realise it was a car behind, you would not be asking me that question. You would be giving me, counselling. But there you go. And then, so that's given me a right, it's great. Absolutely great. I don't feel I've got anything hanging over my head now. I can just get on and think, my leg's sore because it's sore, not because it's anything sinister. So it's absolutely tickle pink with that. And then yesterday I had Matilda for the day. I always have her on a Tuesday, but her mum's off because her mum's full of cold. Matilda's full of cold. I don't do nose fluid very well. And honestly, she had a green nose. I then she had to lie down, put my feet above my head. And then we just started saying, that's snot, Grandma. I was saying, can you please just say bogey? Don't call it snot, say bogey. No, it's snot. It's like, oh my God, this is awful. So she went off. Our daddy came and picked her up at about 4 o'clock, and she went off. She's such a delight, absolute delight. She sat and played with Mary, Joseph, and baby Jesus out my nativity, and the three wise men. We had a bit of a debate about that. The ox is an ox, but she said it was a donkey, and I said no. And then she's quite funny because I was saying no, it's not. It's a donkey, and she goes, well, I think it's a cat. As if to say, Grandma, you're losing the plot. And I said, no, it's not, it's an ox. It could be a cow. And I'm saying it could be, but it's an ox. So in the end, I started calling it a donkey. You think, oh, well, there you go. Doesn't matter. Who's to say it's a donkey? It's not a donkey. That might be what donkeys look like in them days. I think, for God's sake, she's got me wrapped round her little finger. It's pathetic, but I love it. I wouldn't have it any other way. The other thing I've done this week, just the last note, I watched Paula Emma Beasley's The Knitting Pipeline podcast. Hasn't she got a lot of needles? But it did make me tidy my needles. I stuff all my needles. Can you see? I stuff all my needles. Oh, I'll get you them into a Tupperware tub. Into this. And actually, it's disgraceful. My DPNs were all mixed up. The only DPNs that were in the case was the signature ones. So what I did was I found, when I was tidying up this room, some CD wallets. And I just wrote them on, put them in there. I did put my needle gauge and measure them all. All my DPNs that I was unsure of, the wooden ones. I'm not very good with the wooden Symphony Knit Pro ones now because I can't actually see the stitches. I threw them all out. I know, I don't want any comeback about, please don't give us a lecture because I know it's, wasteful. But it was stressing me out that they were all over the place, so I just threw them out. Others I put in my charity bag that I knew what the sizes were, but I'd never used them for years. So I've got them all sorted and they're all in a Tupperware tub. And Paula, thank you very much. You were a real inspiration, and me thinking, I better get them tidied up. It's absolutely disgraceful. So that's that. I am going to have a good sort out. This is all my personal stash. Tomorrow, Friday, we're having carpets fitted. We had, in the room next door, my husband's laptop exploded and burnt all the carpet. So I have a new carpet fitted in there, and then where we ran out the house with it, it's burnt all my dining room floor and my whole carpet, and where bits of it was falling off, and them carpets haven't even been down a year yet, so we're having all them new carpets sorted. So we're having a change around the rooms and what have you, and because this is all my personal yarn is going to go upstairs into a cupboard, and they're going to be putting these. I'm going to get some more of these because these are my shop stuff. So we've got a busy weekend ahead of us, and busy weekend ahead of us. We're going to have a clear out. I am going to throw out, well, I'm not going to throw out, I'm going to, charity shop it. All my crockery. I have, in my last house, the house I lived in last was very minimal, very modern. And I couldn't bear too much clutter. And I liked everything nice and simple and what have you. And I moved to this house. And I grew up in an old stone cottage. So my mum and dad, everything they had was like old. Fitting in the house. Beautiful, but old. And when I moved into this house, this is a Victorian townhouse, I decided I was going to get, I was in chintz heaven, really. I've got vintage dinner service. But actually, it's all mismatched and it drives us up the wall. So I'm going to get rid of all my crockery and we're going out and buying just plain white crockery. So everything's matching and stuff like that. When we were younger, God, I sound ancient, don't I? When we were younger, we did not formal dinner parties, but we used to have all our friends around because we all had younger kids. Kids all used to sit and play in the toy room and fall asleep where they fell asleep, and they would stay the nights, and we'd have like dinner parties and what have you. We don't have that now, and my friends that come around for supper are still the same friends that we had those dinner parties with, but it's much more like relaxed. We get a takeaway. We use our everyday china and stuff like that. We do the posh dinners when nearer Christmas and for special occasions. So I'm going to get rid of it all and just get an everyday 12 place set and dinner service. I'm sure you really needed to know that. So anyway, that's what I'm going to go and do now. Empty my sideboard because that's got to be moved for the carpet being fitted on Friday. And I've got ironing to do. Oh God, do you know? Ironing. I hate Morphy Richards, my iron. So there you go. Anyway, on that note, happy knitting, stay safe and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye. Oh, and I should say a big thank you to everybody who watched my podcast and returning viewers and new viewers. I meant to say that at the beginning. Thank you for all your lovely comments. I truly appreciate them. So thank you. Bye.